The probability of apocalypse soon cannot be realistically estimated, but it is surely too high for any sane person to contemplate with equanimity. Noam Chomsky. The major advances in speed of communication and ability to interact took place more than a century ago. The shift from sailing ships to telegraph was far more radical than that from telephone to email. Noam Chomsky. If there was an observer on Mars, they would probably be amazed that we have survived this long. Noam Chomsky. If we don't believe in freedom of expression for people we despise, we don't believe in it at all. Noam Chomsky. Rational discussion is useful only when there is a significant base of shared assumptions. Noam Chomsky. Changes and progress very rarely are gifts from above. They come out of struggles from below. Noam Chomsky. Either you repeat the same conventional doctrines everybody is saying, or else you say something true, and it will sound like it's from Neptune. Noam Chomsky. Growing up in the place I did, I never was aware of any other option but to question everything. Noam Chomsky. Under the worst conditions, horrendous conditions, people still, fight for their rights and don't just succumb. Noam Chomsky. If we choose, we can live in a world of comforting illusion. Noam Chomsky. If you don't like what someone has to say, argue with them. Noam Chomsky. You can live within the institutions and work hard to change them. Noam Chomsky. Education must provide the opportunities for self-fulfillment. It can at best provide a rich and challenging environment for the individual to explore, in his own way. Noam Chomsky. Anyone can be a moral individual, concerned with human rights and problems, but only a college professor, a trained expert, can solve technical problems by sophisticated methods. Ergo, it is only problems of the latter sort that are important. When you look at a corporation, just like when you look at a slave owner, you want to distinguish between the institution and the individual. So slavery, for example, or other forms of tyranny, are inherently monstrous. Everyone who is critical of Israeli policy is deluged by crazed messages intended to flood their email system, or, more insidiously, passwords are accessed and messages sent out under their name. I'm sure it's illegal. Noam Chomsky. The United States was seriously defeated in Iraq by Iraqi nationalism, mostly by nonviolent resistance. The United States could kill the insurgents, but they couldn't deal with 500,000 people demonstrating in the streets. Noam Chomsky. It's perfectly obvious that there is some genetic factor that distinguishes humans from other animals and that it is language specific. The theory of that genetic component, whatever it turns out to be, is what is called universal grammar.